Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going fantastic. I'm so glad you're joining me. Well, I have a fun couple of projects to share with you. We're celebrating Christmas in July, this 5 easy step card tutorial. I'm going to create not one card, but 2 cards. So the first one I'll go step by step in the normal 5 easy step process, and then at the end we're going to speed it up a little bit and create a bonus card, as I like to say. We're going to be using some Spellbinders Club kits. I have the clear stamp and die of the month club kit. We're going to be stamping some snowflakes. And we're also going to be using the stencil of the month club kit. The stamp set's called Stay Snuggly. The stencil of the month is called Warm and Woven. It actually creates 2 different patterns, kind of sweater woven patterns, and we're going to be doing some stenciling with this. I'm also going to be using the large die of the month club kit too. We're going to make another coffee. I made 2 more coffee cards a few days ago, so I'll leave that video linked at the end if you missed that video. Here we're going to make some coffee mugs here. So let's jump in and get started. First off, we're going to make our step number 1, which means we're going to create our focal point, and we're going to stamp some snowflakes. Okay, you know what, I think I'm going to die cut out my snowflakes first. So I'm going to take the coordinating dies and die cut out my snowflakes first, and then I'll stamp directly on the die cut snowflakes. So I'll do that. I'll be right back. I think this might be a little bit easier, and I'm not sure how many snowflakes I'm going to use, so I die cut out a couple of them. Taking the largest, I'm going to use sky blue, and I'm going to stamp this. I'm going to stamp another one here. Let's stamp this snowflake with sky blue also. I'm going to bring in my summer shower, which is a different color blue. Taking that same larger snowflake, we're going to stamp this. If my camera is shaky, I'm sorry. And then I'll stamp a smaller one with the same. We'll put this one back, and then I'll take the middle size. Let's bring in a different color blue. I want to use my Pink Fresh Studio Waterfall, and I will stamp this here. Now my focal point today is going to be a cluster, and I need to turn on the light that's over here. I have one light going. It's kind of a overcast day, so I don't have much sunshine, so I need to turn on this light. I'll be right back. Much better. A little more balance with the lighting. Sorry about that. Okay, so those are my snowflakes. Now we're going to add to the snowflakes to make a collage cluster as far as our focal point goes. So to do that, I kind of need something to adhere them all together with. So we're going to create a banner. So I have my Spellbinders 3-in-1 punch. Love this thing, but you don't need it. You can just use your scissors and create a fishtail banner with it. I'm also bringing in pattern paper today. I haven't used pattern paper on my cards, and I thought this would go perfect. You're thinking this is actually an Easter pack. This one has Easter eggs on it, but I really love the pinks and the stripes and the polka dots. Of all pattern papers, I think those are my most favorite, are the polka dots, the plaids, and the stripes. So I'm going to pick out these pattern papers. I have my pattern papers. I trimmed down a strip of the plaid that measures 5 inches wide by 1.5 inches tall. And then all you do to create a banner is you just slide it in the 1.5 inch mark, and then you punch it, and it creates a banner. And then I'm going to flip it around. I'm actually going to place the other end in there and create a double banner. Now I'm also, while I'm at it, going to take some twine. This is sky blue hemp twine from Fawn. And I'm going to wrap it around my banner, tying a bow off to the left here. And then I will trim the tail. So now we have a little texture to this. Okay, we have some snowflakes, and I'm just going to use a little bit of glue, and I'm going to build off of the snowflakes here. I have one more snowflake. We may add it. We'll see. But I wanted to add a little color to this. So to do that, I'm bringing in another die set from Spellbinders. This one's been around for a while. This is the Christmas Wonder die set. It has all things Christmas in here. I'm actually going to create a candy cane. There's some stripes here, and then there's a candy cane. I'm going to create 2 candy canes, and then there's also a gingerbread man. So I'm going to do a little bit of die cutting, and I'll be right back. I skipped making the candy cane on camera, but it was very easy. This piece here, the stripes I cut out with red, and then the base candy cane I cut out with white, and I just layered the candy canes. It was very easy to put together. Now, as far as the gingerbread goes, I die cut out my gingerbread with craft cardstock, and then I put pink behind all of the circles that were on here. These are actually gingerbread eyes, but I'm particular about my gingerbread. And I decided to add Google eyes and turn those eyes here into cheeks. Let me show you. Just because I thought it looked a little bit cuter and a little playful. Okay, and so Google eyes, I have this little thing that I picked up on Amazon, very cheap. I'll link it down below. But I am going to add a, whoops. I did ink blend the edges a little bit. I lost an eyeball. We'll put that back. I added a little toastiness to my gingerbread, okay? And that's all there is. And I know, so the brown and the red and white stripes are going to bring a lot of color to my blue. We're going to crisscross the candy canes, glue them together. Okay, and I'm going to add a little glue behind the crisscross, and then I'm going to tuck it under my bow here. And then we can tuck the gingerbread under here also. Okay, and that is all there is to my focal point. A little collage cluster with pattern paper and some stamped images and some die cut images. Now we're going to move along to step number 2 and create our home panel. The home panel, I'm bringing in another die set. This one is called the Memory Frames, and I'm using my pink striped paper, and I'm going to cut out the stripes. I think I'm going to have the stripes this way, but I'm going to cut out a frame with this. And then for the background of my frame, I'm just going to trim out my polka dots. So this is going to go behind here. Okay, now you don't need a photo frame die. I love photo frames, so I have quite a few sets of photo frame dies, but you don't need it. You could just use a rectangle die and a square die, and then create a photo frame that way if you wanted to. But I think photo frames make perfect home panels. What I'm going to do is take my pattern paper and I'm going to add it to my polka dot background. Just layer them together here. Okay, and then that will be my home panel. I think those are going to go so cute together. Actually, what we can do is go ahead and layer them together right now. I'm just going to add some glue behind here. And we are going to layer these together. Maybe we'll angle them a little bit. And there we go. That is my home panel and my focal point. So cute. I still don't know if I'm going to use this snowflake, but I have it just in case. We're going to move along to step number 3 and create our sentiment. I'm going to stamp "Sending Frosty Hugs Your Way." I think that will be really cute with the snowflakes. I'm going to use a red ink. This is Pink Fresh Studios Berrylicious. And I'm going to stamp it on white cardstock. And then I'm going to use the coordinating die set, and we will cut out our greeting. Okay, that's my greeting. I'm going to put a couple foam squares to the left, and then we'll add a little glue, and I'm going to layer it right over this snowflake here. We're going to add this snowflake underneath our greeting, kind of doing a little tucking with it. I think that's think that's adorable. Okay, we're going to move along to step number 4 and create our background. I have some blue cardstock and we're going to do some ink blending. This cardstock measures 3 3/4. I take that back. This measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. So slightly smaller than my card base. And we are going to add some texture paste using our stencil. The nice thing about the sweater layering stencil is a lot of these elements are great to use on their own. And so I'm just going to use this stencil here. Okay, I'm going to use my texture paste. This dries really fast. This is Opaque Matte. I use this a lot. I like how white it is. And I'm just going to spatula this right on here. Okay. And then I just wanted something a little extra in the background, and I think this is going to work out perfectly. The edges I'm just going to want to clean up. Okay, it doesn't take any time at all to dry, but I am, while I'm at it, for my next card, I have another panel. It's the same size, so it's 4 inches by 5 1/4, and we're going to use this stencil. And I'm going to go ahead and add some texture paste for this background. Okay, so now we have 2 backgrounds, and we'll go ahead and lift this up. Okay, and then I'm going to set these aside to dry, wash off my stencil, and I will be right back. Now I went ahead and adhered my panel to my background, and I love how subtle this is. We're going to go ahead and take our home panel. I'm going to flip it over. I am going to put foam tape behind here. I just removed the release paper. And then we are going to add this. I'm going to place it kind of wonky. I guess you don't have to, but I think the playful, we're going to tilt it just a little bit. It's so cute. Okay, and then that is my background. We're going to move along to step number 5, which means it's time to embellish. To embellish my card, we're going to bring in some Spellbinders Color Essential Gems. I'm going to be using the Crystal Mix. The Crystal Mix and the Color Essential Gems have 2 different colors. One's like a cloudy color. We're just going to fill in the center of that knitted print. It's going to be subtle, but it's going to add a little extra something in the background. Okay, and then for my gingerbread, I'm going to use the other crystals that are in here, and we're going to add some sparkle to the gingerbread. And then that will finish off that card. Super cute, using some Spellbinders Club kits. Now we're going to move along to our second bonus card, and we are going to use basically the same elements. Starting off with step number 1, we're going to create our focal point. We're bringing in the Spellbinders large die of the Month Club kit. I did some die cutting using the cocoa or coffee mug. Okay, and then what we're going to do is add a little bit of ink to the cocoa. I always like to do this. Add a little color. I'm just using the ink that's left over on my brush. It's probably espresso, but I think that will look really nice. Okay, and then for my Santa, he looks like he's pretty easy to put together. For the hat, we're just going to add some glue. And then we'll add the hat pieces here. I'm going to bring in a marker. I have my RV10, and we're just going to add some dots. There's deboss area on Santa's cheeks, and I just highlighted those with a marker. And I'm going to add some glue here. Spellbinders has some micro foam squares. I had just ordered them. They should be here within a couple days. But what they are the foam squares, but they're itty bitty, and it'll be perfect to put behind. Like, I would rather have Santa's mustache here popped up. And those micro squares, I'll link them down below, but they're I haven't used them yet, but I think they would be perfect for the small pieces. I put a white foam square Let me zoom in a little so you can see better. Okay, so for Santa's face, I flipped it over. I put a white foam square in the middle, but then I'm going to take some of my black foam squares and go over the eye portion with the black. This is going to make Santa's eyes black, and I don't have to add any cardstock behind it. That's the great thing about having a stash of black foam squares. Okay, and then I can take this. You can see how they cover. I didn't have to use a marker or paper piecing or anything, but I am going to add this to Santa's beard. This Santa is really easy to put together. And the hat, I'm going to glue Santa's hat here. And then give it a second to grab. Then I'm going to use a small square of pink cardstock, and I'm going to add it behind here. And this is Santa's mouth. And look how cute Santa is. Didn't take any time at all. I am going to add some glue, and we'll add our cocoa. And then I'm going to add some glue behind here. And we are going to add Santa to the cocoa. How cute! I know they have marshmallows that look like Santas. I saw those last year. I was so excited about it. Every year for Christmas, I send my sister, my mom used to do it for us. She'd send us cocoa, like a cocoa bar stuff, like cups and cocoa and marshmallows and candies. And my mom's no longer with us, but I wanted to carry on the tradition for my sisters and my sister's family. So I do that for them. And so I had included some marshmallows that look like Santa. I think that would be so cute, adding some marshmallows this year for those little cocoa cup packages that I send. But anywho, so that is that. Along with my rambling, that's going to be my focal point. Okay, for my home panel, which is step 2, I have some pattern papers. This one is actually the inside piece to the photo frame. I didn't want to waste it, so I have this, and then I trimmed down 2 smaller pieces that we're going to layer together. I use my tape runner. Okay, this piece we're just going to layer in the center. And then this one I thought would be cute to kind of flip up the edges a little bit, so it kind of looks like, since it's double-sided, but since it kind of looks like maybe a little napkin to go under the cocoa cup. So we're going to add some adhesive here, and maybe we'll just add it down here in the corner. And that is my home panel. Now for step number 3 is my greeting, and I already stamped it on some of the blue cardstock, and then I used some brown ink. This says a cup of cheer just for you, and I used the same clear stamp and die of the month club kit from Spellbinders. So that's going to be our greeting. Now we're going to move along to step number 4, which is our background, and we already created it using the stencil of the month. This will be our background. I just adhered it to the front of my card base. So that's good to go. I did pop this panel up with some foam tape. I'm just going to remove the release paper, and we'll add this to our background. This card doesn't take any time at all, but it sure is cute. This would actually look really cute in those little cocoa boxes. Place that in the center, and then I did put some foam tape behind my greeting, and I'm just going to add this right below. And that's all there is to that. Now for step 5, we need to embellish, bringing back those gems. I'm just going to add a few of the cloudy color over here. And then I'm also going to bring in a little shine. I'm using some Stickles. This is called Frosted Lace. And I'm going to go over Santa's hat and the pom-pom of the hat. And this is going to give me a little dimension, and I just love the way this looks. I'm going to lay it on kind of heavy because I like the dimension that this adds. Let me show you up close. Or maybe you'll probably be able to see in the pictures. And I kind of need to clean it up a little bit here. I'm going to use my craft tool and kind of clean it up a little bit. And so now we have some dimension to Santa's hat. But that's my little bonus card using a few Spellbinders Club kits. I hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.